So now we're testing streaming on the Samsung S95B, particularly how it performs when, again, being stress tested with its upscaling capabilities with movies and whatever. So first off, I want to go over the live TV thing. They have their whole little free Samsung Plus thing. You have Discover, which will just show you popular movies and things like that. And you can click on one of them and maybe watch whatever. I'm not really seeing anything that I've really heard of outside of maybe Blitz. I don't know. I guess maybe I just don't know movies very well in terms of what they're offering. Like I don't know what Road to Perth is, for example. Like I've never heard of that. Grace Unplugged. You know, like it just seems like whatever they could get, they kind of got. But that's that aspect of it, which again, I guess you have obviously popular TV series like Hell's Kitchen, The Project Runway, stuff like that. You know, Scream Queens, Biggest Loser, Top Gear, stuff like that. So you do have things in terms of the live TV aspect, but in terms of upscaling, we're just going to click on anything and see if it shows us something. We'll just click watch. It says we'll be back in 21 seconds. Well, let's say I don't have 21 seconds and I just want to watch something now. What are you going to show me? So far that looks like a potato. I can tell you that. It doesn't look great. And it is annoying how they have all these user interface things like press down to live discover and then you hit live discover and all that stuff. I wish the HUD wasn't so obtrusive. I think that's the part that really sucks the most. Going to a different channel. Again, the annoying hub that you have to kind of minimize. It really looks bad, honestly. That looks really bad. As far as the upscaling through their free thing, like it's not great. It looks like Potato Cam 5000, like it's pretty ridiculous. So does it go away? Is there a way I can make the Discover thing go away? I click the back button and it just takes me to the last channel I saw, pulls up the Discover again, and then there you go. You start the whole loop all over again. So I think that's like one of the really annoying things they need to figure out for sure. Absolutely annoying. It looks really bad, though. It does look like Potato Cam, as I've said. It's not great. Now they're showing the news here. I'm just going to go back. They're on commercial break, and they're showing just a bunch of B-roll, drone footage, or helicopter footage, whatever. But again, it looks like Potato Cam nonsense. I'm not seeing, like, crazy three-dimensional isolation. I'm sure the camera's going to see it way better, but nah, I'm not really seeing it the way it ought to be seen. I mean, the news never looks great, but this looks really bad. So I imagine if you have like the 77-inch, it's probably going to look every bit as awful. And I think that's as honest as anyone's going to tell you in terms of streaming, at least with this particular content. So what I'll do is I'll put on like maybe Hulu or something like that and try to be slick about it and be very quick. So magic of editing, and we're going to be right back to Hulu. So now here we are on Hulu. We're very slickly going to go into AEW. And we're just going to look at the first thing that we see here. And it froze. That's not a good indication of streaming. And it's alright. It's not like the worst thing I've ever seen, but I am noticing a lot more in the way of buffering and things like that where it wasn't necessarily doing that before. Not my favorite thing, and then things kind of have like a potatoey texture to them. Now, I am using the internal app. That is a very important distinction to make, because when you don't use the internal app, things kind of look better when you use HDMI devices, which is why I always say, hey, you should use an HDMI device. But how we're testing specifically how this TV is as a streaming device and if it's worth your time. So I'm going to click on Impractical Jokers. Awesome show. Highly recommended if you haven't watched it already, which I don't know how that would be possible, but if not, if there's a chance that you are one of the people that have not watched it, definitely check it out because it's great. And yeah, more of the same. It looks like Potato Cam. It doesn't look very great. I'm not impressed at all. It is what it is kind of thing. I don't know. And now it's buffering again. So I think that's just kind of what it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be very good. I'll go on Comedy TV or something like that and see what that looks like. Buffering is like wildly out of control. And again, it just looks like Potato Cam. Like everything looks like it's like 480p. And that's kind of like, not my thing. So I think I would recommend just buying a dedicated HDMI device, because as I look around, I'm not really noticing anything that looks good, if I'm being honest with you, as far as upscaling. YouTube videos kind of were the same thing. It was, you saw even with the news, it wasn't that great. Some things are okay, but like for the most part, it's pretty muddy. So this is the one part that I would recommend you maybe not hold on to too tightly. If you're one of those people that are maybe a stickler and you're like, hey, I need this for streaming. I don't have any HDMI devices. I don't use PS5. I'm using the TV, only ever the TV. You might run into some problems with some muddy textures because I'm telling you right now, this is muddy as all hell. It's not pretty. So in terms of processing, I don't know, man. I think Sony might take the cake in terms of processing of older content because they usually do a better job with upscaling and making stuff really sharp and looking good for over-the-air type stuff. Where Samsung, even though their neural processor seems to offer something similar, I still would go the route of something more dedicated towards HDMI at the very least. It by itself, I would kind of give that a failing grade. Hopefully this helps you guys out. If you have any questions, let me know down below. Thanks for watching the #1 brand in honesty. Until the next video, see you guys later.